Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. A married couple split their joint tax return earnings evenly. The husband went to a furniture store with his share and spent $978 on new furniture. He then only had $1,284 remaining. Determine the amount each spouse earned and find the total of their joint tax return earnings. Let us begin our strategy for problem solving by analyzing the problem. Keep in mind that the first thing you want to do when analyzing the problem is find what it is we're asked to determine. In this case, they want us to determine the amount each spouse earned and find the total of their joint tax return earnings. So the key word here is and. Lets us know that we're looking for two different things. One of them being the amount each spouse earned, and the second being the total of their joint tax return earnings. So we're going to have two variables, so let's go ahead and jump to step 2 and assign the variables. I'm going to go ahead and use the letters X and Y. You can use any letter that you would like. So we're going to go ahead and let X and Y represent the following. So X is going to equal the amount each spouse earned, and then Y is going to equal the total amount of their joint tax return earnings. So the assignment of the variable is simply what we're asked to find, reworded in the form of a statement. So now let us go ahead and continue analyzing the problem. So the first sentence says that the married couple split their joint tax return earnings evenly. So it's a married couple, so there's two people in the relationship, so that's going to be helpful. And they split their earnings evenly. So split it evenly, and there's two of them, multiplication by 2. So now we know that also the husband went to the furniture store with his share and spent $978 on new furniture. So the husband with his share spent $978 on new furniture. So the key number there being $978 and spent. So spent is going to be an indicator of subtraction, and we're going to end up subtracting 978. And then lastly, we know that he then only had $1,284 remaining. So that's going to be a number that we're going to be using as well. So now let us go ahead and start forming our equation. So keep in mind that the amount each spouse earned is represented by the variable X. And now we actually know something about the husband in particular. We know that he had an X amount of money that he earned, but then from that he spent, so we're going to subtract 978 from his earnings. And then after that expenditure, he had $1,284 remaining from his earnings. So it's going to be one equation. Now let us go ahead and create the second equation. Now the second equation is with reference to the total earnings. So now we're going to create a relationship between Y and X. And this is going to be coming from the fact that the married couple split their joint tax return earnings evenly. So the fact that they split it evenly means that they divided their earnings amongst each other, and since there's two of them, they divided by 2. So there's two ways we can go about this. One way is first we want to identify which one's bigger, the Y or the X. Since Y represents the total earnings, Y is going to definitely have to be bigger. So that means X is smaller, so we're going to multiply X by 2 in order to make this equation true. So there we go. Those are going to be our two equations. So now let us go ahead and begin solving the equation. We'll start off by copying down the equations. So it's going to be the first equation. And our second equation is going to be Y is equal to 2X. Notice that in the first equation is only about the variable X. So we could go ahead and solve this one for X. So now what we want to do is we want to undo the subtraction of 978. The only way to undo subtraction is through addition. So we're going to go ahead and add 978 to both sides of the equation. And on the left-hand side, the negative 978 cancels out with the positive 978. And we're left with simply x. And once we do the addition, we find out that x is equal to 2,262. So we have solved for x. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plug this into our second equation and solve for y. So we're going to have y is equal to 2 multiplied by the value of x, which is 2,262. And once we carry out this multiplication, we find out that the value of y is equal to 4,524. So there we go. We've officially solved for both variables. So let us go ahead and state the conclusion clearly. Keep in mind that we were asked to determine the amount each spouse earned and find the total of their joint tax return earnings. So we're going to go ahead and state our conclusion so that it answers the two questions. So we'll go ahead and state the following. Each spouse earned $2,262 and they earned a joint tax return total of $4,524. So now let us go ahead and check the result. We'll start off by bringing down the original equations found in step 3. So we're going to have x minus 978 is equal to 1,284 for the first equation. And for the second equation, we're going to have y is equal to 2x. So now we know the value of x is equal to 2,262, so we're going to substitute that into the first equation. We're going to subtract 978 from it. And we hope it's going to be equal to 1,284. Once we carry out the subtraction, we do actually end up with 1,284 on both sides of the equation. So this verifies that our first equation is correct. And now substituting in these values for the second equation, we're going to have 4,524. And we're going to hope that that is equal to 2 multiplied by 2,262. And therefore, after you verify the multiplication, we do end up with the same value on both sides. That is, we have 4,524 is equal to 4,524. So yet again, this verifies that our solutions are correct.